Hello, you are listening to the Gamer Librarian Podcast, the best podcast you can find on this side of the multiverse. I am your host, Adrian, and today I have an interview with Micah from Crashable Studios on their game Wildwood Down and more. Leave a like and subscribe to be notified when future episodes are released.
Kind of played a part in us choosing that as the genre that Daniel is like doing his voice acting. So we kind of want the story to be the driving factor, for it. So it's not so much like a hack and slash or bullet hell. It's like the storyline is the thing. So that's kind of what drove us into the point and click adventure genre for this game. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys did you go as like kind of freestyle. We have a little bit of mystery. There's a plot there overall. I'm not gonna spoil everything, but a missing person, just to be very vague with them go down to the end, right? I think it's cute. I
Right.
think it's fun. It's a fun adventure. I really
Yeah.
look forward to playing it when it does come out. I have a release date, August 7th.
Seventh. Yeah.
PC, Steam, you guys.com, Xbox,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, that's like we applied for the applications for that, and that's like up to Nintendo how that goes and what happens with that.
Yeah, so
One of the cool things we hope it does because Switch 2 has the like mouse compatibility, like you can spin the controller and use it as a mouse, so it kind of works with a point and click really well actually. So in that aspect, it would be cool to get it on there. Yeah,
so as you know, you guys probably licensed that seems like
yep.
hurdles for someone in the indie side. Steam probably it's also like
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Steam one. That's like
Right. Way back. Yeah. Yeah.
2010.
Yeah. So then we did for sure. Yeah. So that's the same thing. Me and my brother made that. And then we went on and made Century City is another one we have, and that's like a side scroller. Just like with like AI takes over and you have to kind of like shoot through robots and get to beat the game levels. Yeah. So that's like simple. That actually came out on Switch too, which was just Switch. But yeah, that Steam and Switch. So that was fun. That's more of simple like side scroller shooter. And now it's our third game, so we're kind of returning back to our point and click like roots. And yeah. Yeah, it's been great. So um
Track record.
yeah.
Any challenge that, at least on the indie side, that you could say that you might have on trying to publish?
Yeah, man. I mean, like everything's a challenge. Just the millions of like hats you have to wear being an indie dev is insane. You go from like writing the story to like designing the puzzles to designing the scenes to like making them all look right and then run properly, like controlling your character, the controls have to work. Every single thing is like you gotta figure it out and do it, like every single thing. So my brother is making all the assets. Luke, he does the 3D modeling, the 2D pixel art. So that's like a kind of great help that, and then I kind of pull it all together and glue it all and make it all happen. Within Unity and so yeah, it's just like and then you turn around, you got to market the game. You got to talk about, you're like, man, I got to finish this thing. I don't even know how to like make a post on Twitter. You know what I mean? I don't even have time for that. You're just like grinding. So yeah, like that's like a big layer. So yeah, for sure. And then you have like the game crashes and you're like, what? Like, you gotta like go. I just lost a month of work and what did I do and didn't do? You know what I mean? That's like a window of like indie dev. Yeah, and you're just like, right, right.
So, they have
Yeah, so we are self-publishing this. Yeah, so we're self-publishing the game. It's like we will make the money. It's a lot of people go back and forth with what to do with that, to get a publisher or not, because nowadays there's so much you can do as a like self-published indie developer, because internet. It's like you have the resources. You can email, you can message, you can talk to people, you can reach out to press. There's so much you can do on your own. Where it's like, why give this guy 40% of your sales? Just because he has like a contact list. It's kind of like, yeah, yo,
I don't know. I don't know if that.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. It's like, like a publisher has that stuff usually a lot of times, but some of them don't. Um, but that's kind of like you have to get through those loops, and that's just another hat you have to wear. Of like, yeah, we need a dev kit for the Switch. We got to talk to Nintendo and get them to like send us a Nintendo Switch that you can make a build for. You know what I mean? And you got to do all that stuff and get through those loops, but it's like doable. You know, it's just some extra work.
We'll talk. See a lot of great stories of small teams. One of my favorite games. All
Yeah,
same
thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought, well,
Sure.
a little bit of really volume.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah, Facebook, usable,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yeah, that's kind of like what they call it is pixel hunting. You want to like people don't have to pixel hunt where you're like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Like yeah. So that's like you can highlight the things that you can click on. You know that they're interactable. So it's not just like I couldn't solve the puzzle because I didn't know that keychain was a thing. You know what I mean? That's like it. Yeah, absolutely. Right. For sure. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, crazy.
some people
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, like I kind of mentioned that it's us, it's me and my brother Luke. We have four brothers all. I have four brothers, so it's five boys all together. Um, but yeah, we just kind of grew up playing video games. We love video games, all the genres. Like even PC. We were playing Counter Strike before it was like even a real game. It was just a mod of Half Life. So we were like, yeah. So like, Counter Strike, Day to Defeat, all the Half Life mods, and then all the we had PlayStation, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all the way back, like RPGs. We love we're just gamers, so we just grew up loving games, and it just came with the territory. Like it would, as we grew, and we're all kind of creative as well. Me and my brothers, we have a band. We all play music. Um, yeah, so we absolutely, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's so fun. That's like I actually love that side of it, like having like a story and like a vibe and a thing and trying to like articulate that in music and like the sound of it, you know. So that's like really fun. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. So originally, so one of the things that happened, I found like this game AGS is called it's called AGS Adventure Game Studio,
Yeah.
and I kind of stumbled on that, and I was like, oh, cool, like maybe I can make a point and click like Monkey Island, you know. So I kind of started screwing around with it, and that was probably like 17 years old or something at the time. And then I like got more and more into it. And for a year, I kind of was building and working on this game, learning the thing, and my oldest brother reformatted the computer and I lost everything. So I was like, dude, you gotta be kidding me, you know? So I was like, no, I was just devastating. And there's no backup, no hard drive, and you know, I was just like gone. I just laid down in bed, it's just like oh, killing me. Yeah. So so that was kind of the start. And then after that, maybe a year or two, I started again. I was like, all right, like let's make a real like that AGS was cool. So that's how we made Alum actually was with Adventure Game Studio. So our first game was kind of like, you know, was kind of I figured out the system. I knew like was getting something going that year of work. So like let's like restart that and make this whole new idea in this game and stuff. So me and Luke started like working out at that and we made a Kickstarter actually for that. Got like $10,000 for Kickstarter. That was cool. Um, and so we just built that out and made, you know, just kept going, just problem solving, you know, YouTubing how to do what, you know. And so finally we landed like a couple of years into making that and we brought it out. And then here we are later, 10 years later or something, still doing cool stuff, making stuff, you know. Yeah, for sure.
Guys.
So conception of the idea, it's kind of funny a story, but um, it was like me, Luke, my wife, and Daniel. Actually, we were going to Wildwood, New Jersey. So it's actually a place, you know, it's like a boardwalk in New Jersey. We took a trip there for this summer. We are like, let's just go down there for a weekend, hang out, have fun, go to the beach. And when we got there, it was like high school, like senior week, where all the high schoolers go for spring break. And so it's like it was just sprawling with all these high schoolers and like drama, and they're talking, and like you see them drinking, hiding from the cops, and like these little fights breaking out. And we're just kind of hanging out, like people watching. You know, it was just so funny to see it all. So we like had a couple conversations and run-ins with like these kids, and so it so and then sitting on the beach, my wife actually mentioned, she said, she was like, it feels like we're like in a real life point and click adventure game. It's like just all this stuff that's happening and what people are saying, you know, it's like almost like these NPC interactions. And they're like, say, you know, yeah. And this girl was like throwing this like toy up in the air and catching it. And like, it was like, she looks like she's like on a loop animation, you know, like it would just like this character that's like just doing this loop. And so it was just this funny, like, and from that, we were like, we should make this a game, like Wildwood, and you're here, and this is like the air, you know, and then like we kind of just went from there, sitting on the beach that trip, and we were like talking about puzzle ideas, graphics, and Daniel was with us, so we were like, Dan could be the main character, you know, and like he could be like this murder mystery, and it all sprawled from that idea. Now it was like 3 years ago, 3 summers ago, and then so then it kind of was like okay, cool, yeah. You kind of just talk about stuff like that a lot of times, where it's like it's just fun to dream and think, and like it's just a funny. But that this actually carried on, you know. And some months later, we were like okay, let's. There's adventure game studio and Unity. How do we want it to look? Could we actually make it like realistically, and what could it be? So here we are 3 years later. It's coming out August 7th, which is like funny.
Guys,
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't know. I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like Family Guy.
Okay, funny. I'm gonna write that down. Code monkeys.
Yeah.
Okay, funny.
Shows the art.
Yeah. So like I was saying, like Luke does, he does the well, we both do everything kind of, but mainly he's making. I'll build like just with blocks and things and simple shapes. I'll like build it in Unity and be like, this is a stair, this is a handrail, this is a light ramp, like, and so I kind of set the scene up so I know like what the puzzle is within that. And in each of those objects that's just a blank, like cube with a doorway, he'll take that and he'll actually model it and make it into like a designed looking. Yeah, it takes and then he'll like make it look cool and kind of breathe life into it, texturize it so it's like color and has like all the the vibe of it. And then the 2D pixel art, he's doing all the frame by frame animation of that stuff. And I'll kind of give him a list. Like, I need a thing of Daniel picking something up off the ground. I need an animation of him like diving into like a slide. So he like does all the different whatever I'll give him a list of animations.
Yeah.
He just works on them. Yeah.
In a really portion.
Yeah.
That's a really fun, especially watch it puzzle. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. We try to, so throughout the whole game, we kind of, that was like the goal was to have it very cinematic. And the thing, like, so it's considered 2.5D. So you're in 3D space, but there's 2D like sprites, like pixel art sprites, like your characters are 2D. Kind of like Paper Mario is like people relate to that as a big, it's 2.5D. But that gives you that you can zoom in with the camera, you can turn the camera, you can like have a blur, what's in focus and what's not. And that was like really fun to tell the whole story of the game with that like cinematic feel. Any lighting is 3D, so it's like casting shadows, and like at night you just have this cool feel because the lighting is like dynamic. Like a car, like a train car on the boardwalk driving by, and its headlights are like hitting everything as it goes past. It's just cool, because it's like in a 3D space. And so through telling the story, it's like you can do a lot of really cool things with like the camera. Like it's like Daniel's in the foreground in focus, and the killer's behind him, and his eyes are glowing, but he's blurry. So you have that like ominous. He's like, you know what I mean? Like in a scene, it's like that, and then the focus can pull to the killer all of a sudden and like have a sound effect. It's like dun, 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 kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really
so like you can so you can do a lot of cool. Like we kind of like designed it to like be able to do a lot of that stuff, and then throughout the whole game made it our goal to like keep that feel and keep it really professional and high quality. Always doing different. Yeah. So I think it came out really fun. I mean, we're excited about it. I love the like. I think it's like a classic adventure game, but it kind of has its own feel to it because of all of that, like the 3D, 2D space, and it kind of has its own unique like vibe when you're playing it and stuff, which I'm like happy about.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how you guys express your, fantasy or your fake wild. I'm excited to see what kind of world that is going to be to explore and be Dan and be able to, do things as Dan would do in those games. Because what I think is fun is that the game has you do the actions, but they're really Dan's actions, and a lot of narratives are really fun and cool. And some games maybe like maybe in some games the choices are too open ended, and I kind of like that it's specifically all about Dan and how he gets things done. When he
Yeah.
tries to fry the donuts in the demo, I mean, you can just choose to burn them, and that seems very very fun as part of the narrative. I just like that. That's
That's fun.
very fun. So I'm excited to see what kind of other chaos you do as Dan in the world of Wildwood Down. That seems very fun. While trying to solve a murder. I mean, like how do those antics really coincide into solving a murder?
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, we did. It's like has that zany, like there really is a murder, so it's like serious and dark, but then it's like so silly at the same time that it's like Daniel like solving it and going through this like, and the characters are zany and funny. So we did try to hit a lot of like the point and clicks I liked in the olden days, like Grim Fandango and different things had that mixture, Full Throttle. Where it's like it's really serious, like what's happening, but then it's like it's so funny and silly at the same time, where you like have that funny like blend.
That point and clicks were always about that silliness.
Yeah, yeah,
Sitting there at the screen.
right.
The puzzles are always so difficult, I would say, on just like a basic level. Like they're hard to just be intuitive about early on. But you, at least
Yeah,
from the context you guys describe in the game, sometimes you got to talk to some people in the crowds or on the boardwalk to really get a sense of what to do. I like that. That's really fun context.
yeah, it's great. What else can I say about that? Yeah. I can't wait for people to play it. It's the test players have been fun to see them play it, and we've done a couple game shows where people play the demo and different things. So it's cool to see people like enjoy it and laugh and get the jokes, and you know what I mean. Like, so it's just getting better and better as we polish it and get the puzzles like locked in. So they like are the one of the terms a lot of times you'll hear in adventure games is like people hate when it's moon logic. And that's kind of like, I never would have thought of that answer as the puzzle, So you're kind of battling, like, you don't want to have like a lot of moon logic in there where it's like, that's just weird that that's the answer for the puzzle, Where you should feel, if you couldn't figure it out, you're like, oh, I should have thought of that. You know what I mean? Or you like land on it and you're like, okay, I get it. That's like what you're looking for in like designing the puzzles out.
Yeah, I imagine as game devs, it's hard to tote that line between a puzzle a player can understand, but also feel like they figured them out on themselves.
Exactly.
Like it's a process. Because for me,
for sure,
I feel like maybe as someone who's played games a long time, you find that the more you've seen the same kind of puzzles, the same kind of setup for puzzles, you kind of just click how to solve.
Yeah.
Click games, that's a little different. You kind of have to maybe think outside the box of like
exactly,
certain context clues, things like that.
Yeah, like the rules of what's
video game.
Yeah, for sure. It's like hand holding. You don't want to solve a puzzle. You don't want to handhold too much. Yeah,
you're correct.
For sure.
So I wanted to ask you guys are like a small indie dev, and I think this is still topical in my opinion because I've seen that it's probably been a lot harder on people, especially like nowadays. You guys been going on all kinds of hobbies, game devs including since 2015 onward. Somehow, I'm certain COVID affected you guys in some way, and I'm so glad to see that you guys are still kicking and putting out games and doing all kinds of stuff like nowadays. Like that's awesome to see. I know a lot of people aren't here to see that or even be in the same position because of that. So like,
Sure.
What was that like for you to be an indie dev with about 2 games under your belt? Did you think that you would even be working on a third game at that time?
Yeah, I mean, like we kind of actually took a hiatus.
Yeah.
Through COVID, like I just was working. Actually, I did like construction.
Okay.
Just grinding. So it was kind of like we need to work. Still live a life. Yeah, it's like that. So it's just like grinding and working, and that's So I want to give props to after work, like grinding, working, doing all this stuff. And these last couple of years, I got to shout out to my wife because she's supporting. I always say that she's my Kickstarter. For the last 2 years, she's like allowing me to do this and work on the game full time for the last 2 years, which is super cool. And yeah, so shout out to her. She's the best.
I get it, man. I mean, there's always right of like behind a good president, there's like a good wife. Behind a good man, there's a good wife.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like I totally believe that the support system that other people have affects their work output. And
it's like super crucial.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's really great to see that you guys made it through hard times like every day.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine even trying to get a video game out. What do they call it? Gold up until launch, and then they make it playable. Like that's probably hard, just even to the last second. I imagine.
Yeah, for sure. It's wild. I was literally like in Unity, like fixing something, doing stuff, have like full windows open when you called me on this. I was like, oh crap, like it's that time. You know what I mean? It's like your mind is just like you got like, and it's like it's crazy because yeah. It's just because it's coming up, August 7th. It's like crunch time.
I get you. So you
for sure.
Like all freehand. You don't have necessarily like pre-programming or development knowledge like outside of the last like 10 years.
Yeah. Just doing it, working on it, learning it, whatever we got, just figuring it out. We have the one guy, like shout out to him too, our friend William Gaines, and he's just like, I don't know, that dude he's just like a godsend. We've been friends with him since Alum, and he just messaged us and was like, hey, your game looks cool, like I'm following you guys, and if you need help on something. So I kind of took him up on it during Alum. Like, I don't know how to get my game on Steam. Like, we built it and it's cool and it'll run, but can you help me like port it onto, like, I don't know anything. So he like did that for us back then, and we've been friends ever since. And he's just a chill dude. And now, like with this game, he's still jumping on now and like helping us in different things when I hit something. And he's like a programmer and does it like works on games for a living. So he's a lot smarter than me, coding wise,
Yeah.
And so he's like, so that guy's clutch. William Gaines is like, yeah. He just comes in our project and laughs at all our stuff. It's like, look at this like script, this thing's doing work. Me like trying to script something, like jangling my way through to make it work. So it's great. Yeah.
So you guys ever try out like any mod scenes at all? Like you like dip your toe into that and like practice or anything modding for games?
Not really.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I always
just kind of like
those indie devs were always the same people that like did those mods. It's like those to those developers. They're on that 24/7 grind.
Like you're just grinding. Right. I could see that, but just haven't personally, No,
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm very, grateful to see that there's people out there putting their own stake into the game for video games, even just, you guys got to make a living. I understand that. So like you guys could totally just put your games out for free, like some people do on some websites.
Right.
For the people that like just put out Pokemon ROMs out there, because
just rocking house.
So into those, yeah, I love those. So, I don't know if you guys can talk about it, but do you have like a price at all for this game slated on your release?
Yeah, but I'm not going to talk about it.
I get you.
Yeah, it's just a little thing. It just has to drop when it drops, So yeah, when it comes out, for sure. It's not going to be like expensive though.
No,
I'll say that. It's not going to be like a full price AAA game. Yeah.
People got to make it sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's great to see that there's real good passion out there bringing out games, and I truly do hope that it leads to like far more. Like I'm gonna try and talk about this game as much as I can for you guys. I'm gonna play through it.
Appreciate it, dude.
I think it's sick.
Yeah, I love that you found it from the like card on a game.
Yeah.
So
So,
actually, like, yeah, the business card. So I actually asked in my Discord, and we figured out who did it.
oh, did you really? I just
Yeah, uh-huh.
so I didn't get to look.
Yeah, it was random. I was like, who, like, did someone do it? So it was actually this girl, Taryn, and she's a voice actor in the game. So she goes to Wildwoods, like, she's this fun, like, I don't know, she auditioned for a part, we picked her, and she does this part, and she's just been cool. So she's all into it, but she goes to Wildwood, like, every 4th of July, since she was, like, born. So she's all into, like, the game, because of the Wildwood side and stuff. So she happened to be there for 4th of July, for her, like, family vacation. So she just printed those out and was kind of like scattering them around, just throwing them out there. Like, people are coming here, might as well just for fun, And I was, so I was like, oh yeah, super cool.
Oh, shit. I'll have to try and see what they work on. Talk to them. That's sick. I just picked this up while I was with my girlfriend and her family, and I was surprised and excited. But that's really exciting to see that there's just a voice actor putting out promotional cards.
Yeah. I was like, that's so cool that you would do that. I loved it.
Yeah,
she was like into it enough to like take that on herself. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking, how long are we going to talk? Yeah. I'm going to talk about Dan, would be cool. Main character.
So when I was at Wildwood, my girlfriend, her sister has developmental needs. Your main character, Daniel, is someone based on somebody who also has very similar needs. I find that so admirable and courageous for someone like them to be a main character in the game. I mean, it must have been a little scary, but also exciting. I would have liked to get a chance to talk to them and see what it's like for them to be a voice actor, to be known as a video game character. That sounds so fun, right? From the little intro video in the demo, I knew this game was going to be a slammer because he looked like he was having so much fun under that pier. Seeing him like just so
absolutely
that.
So fun. Yeah.
Dan, you want to talk about Dan? Does Dan do anything on his own? Is he employed in any way? Or
he's so okay. Daniel is my childhood friend. We grew up with him. He's basically a sixth brother out of all of us brothers because he's spent so much time with us and our family. And so Daniel has Down syndrome, and he's just like a amazing guy, and he's just a hilarious character. He's just he's a ham. Like, if you turn a camera on, he like comes to life and starts hamming it up. He loves attention. He's just like a funny, silly dude. Yeah. So that's like part of like him being the main character. It just made so much sense because he like loves to just be silly and like act up and be crazy. So
he had
that's kind of what's early on.
Dialogue, right, in the game.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So he got to be.
So some of the
that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some of the dialogue was like I'd be writing it, working on the game right here at my computer, and Daniel still like comes and visits in the summer for all summer. He stays with me and my wife. He'll be behind me like playing Mortal Kombat or something on his Xbox. And so I'd be like, Dan, like I'm like in this game, like this cop comes up to you and he thinks that you did this or that and this, and what would you say to that cop? And it's kind of like off the cuff, like what he says right then. I kind of typed it right into like the dialogue, like it's his real answer, and is like imagining it. So it's like it's just fun doing it all. And then also another side of that was when we were recording all his lines, the audio. It would be like I'd feed him a line like, this is your, like, say this, and then he would always kind of like improvise it because he's just like creative and funny. He kind of like put his spin on it and make it a little funnier, like just how he'd say it. And so we just keep the audio and then change the dialogue in the game to go with what he said, like while recording the lines, to keep the life, the real like
Nah, that's so
What
wholesome.
yeah, yeah, like the true character
To see that.
who Daniel is. Yeah,
I'm sure you guys, keep up with like video game trends and like AI has always been the big thing the last like
yeah,
5 years or so. So to see like you guys giving someone like Dan a real position in the creative process for this game rather than just going to Alexa or Cortana or Gemini or one of those AI apps and being like, yo, speak for me. I think that's
yeah.
awesome. Like that's so
So
great for
good.
you guys and so great for Dan.
Cool. Yeah, we just believe in it and hope. I think it's awesome. He's like there's why wouldn't we want him to be the guy? He is the character in the game. It's like, and he's such an awesome person in real life. So it's like our hearts to kind of share him with the world is the heart of the game. Really, the part of like it's like he's been such a great friend to me personally, and spending time with him and being with him has actually like helped me in my life and been such a joy and like it's like an honor to like know him and be his friend. Really, so it's kind of like the heart of the game is like let's share Dan with the world and like he's the main character and let him be who he really is throughout the story. That's like the gist of the whole kind of part of the motivation to even make the game.
Yeah, that's great because
Yeah,
people play video games to right escape, and I think people don't think about that escape. And to me, I play video games to experience things that I could never do. Right, like I could play basketball or football like outside, but I don't want to do that.
yeah,
I just play it on like my Xbox. But I also I could be a soldier, but I could play Call of Duty, right? Like it's
yeah,
different
yeah,
games
yeah,
are meant for different things. And I like sometimes maybe I want to be a crime investigator, or maybe I want to be on a
yeah.
beach and on a boardwalk. And I think Wildwood Down has that, good mix of
Absolutely.
experience. Like that's what
Yeah,
it's all about. That's really great to
cool.
see.
It's really cool. So
Wildwood
yeah,
Down is a comedy mystery point click and thriller by I have here Micah, who's a developer with his longtime brother Lucas, right?
yeah, Luke. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you guys work at Crashable Studios. This is your
Crashable
third
Studios.
game,
Right.
and that's insane. I want to say thank you, like really so much for being my first game dev here on the podcast. That's crazy
Yeah,
for me to
it's an
have
honor, man.
and a chance to talk to you, man. Really.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Um, yeah. What else? What else? Crazy. I can't believe it's coming out soon. It's like surreal.
very
I go
excited.
through like a roller coaster of like I'm super excited and then I'm like afraid. I'm like people are gonna hate it. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna get thrashed. You know
No,
what I mean?
no.
It's just like that. It's like
People are gonna
your
see
whole
this
heart's
intro video and they're gonna
yeah,
love it. Like I know it. And
yeah,
if they don't, then they're heartless people. I'm just gonna say that
yeah.
because
That's
if you're gonna
funny.
download a point and click game, you know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
not good at
You
that.
gotta be here for those vibes. And I think you put
Yeah,
together a really well crafted game. Like I hope that demo
thanks.
gets downloaded on like every console and that brings all kinds of people to flock
Cool.
to your point and click game. I hope it brings point and click games back in a new
Yeah,
fashion.
right. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I appreciate that, man. So,
Just want
vote of confidence.
I just want to do my part, talk about small indie game them, give them a little bit of space to spread their game out. And it seems like you guys have a really good one under your belt. It's coming out
Mm,
soon, August 7th. Micah, I want to say thank you for being here on the podcast. I hope to maybe talk to you or Lucas or maybe even Dan sometime soon
yeah,
on the release day of the podcast or the release day of the video game. We could do an episode, something where
that'd be
maybe
fun.
we play through with Dan or something
Yeah,
small.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That'd be really fun.
I just think it would be really fun to spread word about this game. Really, again, thank you for talking about what it's like being a game dev. I know that might be a very difficult thing to talk about. You're in a unique position. I think that maybe you're not tied with any specific contracts with specific people, so you can maybe give a little more open-ended voice, a little more honest voice in some regards. So
Right.
really, I appreciate that little bit of personality that you gave out to us. Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor. I don't know. I'm just here.
Alrighty,
Thanks for talking to me. Thanks for having me on. Just
of
start
course, man.
reaching out. Super cool.
I hope you take care, man. Let me know when that game is available for download. Telling you, man, I will support you. That game will be
Yeah,
downloaded
I
ASAP.
appreciate it, dude. Yeah. I'll hit you up if we ever can do another one, or if I have Dan here with me, or we want to do something like that. It'd be cool.
That'd be
I'll
sick.
think about it and try to figure out what we could do. It'd be fun.
Awesome. All right, man. You
Yeah.
take care. You go work on those four different windows of Unity at once.
Yeah. Wish me luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Cheers.
Man, take safe and
Have a
try
good
to
one.
spend some time outside, man. I try to say this to everybody, spend some time outside while we can, while the weather is good. I'm a
Absolutely.
conservation fan. I believe in like global warming, so like I try to spend like summers, winters, falls, even being
Enjoy.
outside in the rain. I try to spend while the weather is
Great.
good, and we can enjoy it. But have a
Absolutely.
good one, bro. Really appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank you again.
thanks, dude.
Peace.
Peace. See you, man.
All right, so I'll probably put in the interview sometime right before here. So here is episode 92 of the podcast. We just had an interview with our first video game developer. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We lost the beginning of it, but I think it worked out really well. We're going to do our best to promote this game as much as we can because I think it's crazy the little coincidences, the little fun stories that we got out of this entire vibe. Finding a little cardboard card about this video game, and I got to play a really enjoyable demo. It was sick. It was sick. But we have a small amount of things to talk about here on the podcast because quite a lot has happened here, right? So, Marvel Rivals put out their season 3 update, which now adds the Phoenix, who is my least favorite character of like X-Men. Like I despise the Phoenix entire storyline. I think it's gross. Blade is cool, awesome, and there's definitely a whole bunch of buffs and apparently a team up overhaul, which seems crazy. Now it's been a little bit since I've played Marvel Rivals, not since the latest character, Miss Emma Frost, I think it is. Yeah, that's about basically the last real character I played. I think Ultron, I played just a small bout of it. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna play Phoenix like ever. I would just prefer to just be normal Jean Grey and something else stupid, but whatever. Valve has now added a new overlay system that makes the bad performance be a little more intuitive for new players, new Steam users, and just the public in general. So now it like has more simplified menus and things like that. I think that's great. I don't usually use that, but I think that's definitely really cool. Small, small little update is not only is Cyberpunk Edgerunners having like a comic book come out, I think Volume 1 is coming out soon, but they also just put out that they're putting Season 2 on Netflix. I didn't think that show would get a season 2 like at all. I thought it would be a one and done thing. I'm actually really surprised that the Netflix Cyberpunk show survived longer than the game, the thing it's really based off of, which is just incredible. Now, we also have the first addition to something that I didn't think would be added to Minecraft ever, and that's copper. Like they're adding copper to Minecraft, and it's being used in a real way, and it adds like a whole new golem and a new chest system and all kinds of stuff. I think that's really dope, really sick. It's been a while since I played Minecraft. Now, the big elephant in the room, the Microsoft layoffs, insane. 9,100 employees just just left. Now this is like management mostly apparently, while also being definitely a few of the studios that have been affected, like King and ZeniMax and all kinds of stuff. And we're seeing a whole slew of games be canceled, which is awful. Truly terrible. I think it's terrible. Now, what does it mean for Microsoft? Well, they don't really have any good games coming out. They don't have anything worthwhile. I don't think their Fable game is going to be really good. We haven't seen anything for Gears of War. E-Day or anything like that. We just haven't seen it, so I'm not really too excited for those. After Halo Infinite, it's just really like nah. The only thing I really care about Xbox for is whether or not it's gonna have Hollow Knight on Game Pass or not. That's the only thing I truly care about Xbox for in this moment is literally only that. So game news, I'm sure some things came out like today, but we got just a really big game to talk about. A really really big one. Persona 5X. No, no, no. I didn't play much of that game. I don't have a phone that can play it, which is really unfortunate. I'm annoyed by that. I'm gonna try and maybe get one, but I did download it on Steam, so I'll be playing that. Relatively as soon as I finish Death Stranding 2. I mean, how insane is this game? It is just the same as the first game, but I think it's just more charming and it's much more fluid in its like gameplay loop. It's much more enjoyable just going around the world and delivering packages. Places are a little closer. You get the vehicles a little sooner, a little more easier, and I really enjoy utilizing all of the fabrications that every other player puts down. I love putting them down, my own little markers as well, and clicking like and sharing likes. I think that's really fun. I would love to see like a Pokemon Go esque version of Death Stranding. Now, we're only like chapter 8 or so. We only beat like the snake soldier guy twice and like the underwater uh, ice thing. The gameplay is cool. I do find it a lot more enjoyable than the first game. It's definitely a lot easier to utilize some of the like the MP bullets and like whether or not you're gonna be stealthing or not for certain occasions. I really enjoy that. This game is far more streamlined and the music peak. I haven't given the playlist a full run through yet. We're only about halfway through Australia, and as soon as this podcast is uploaded, I am booting up Death Stranding because I can definitely put in some miles while working, and the real long walk, if you know what I'm saying. But right, this episode's got to go out. Just wanted to give a small little update onto some of the small video game news and stuff that we've been doing here. But like I said, we had that interview probably going up in the earlier portion of the episode. And other than that, I will check out you guys later.